everyone, and welcome back. I wanted to jump on and give you a quick update about a recent development that is making this whole income store saga just more interesting day by day. Now, if you missed my last video, you will have also missed the development that the receiver had actually initiated a third-party lawsuit against Empire Flippers. If you want to get caught up on that situation, I'll throw a card up there so you can go and check it out. And basically what I said in my video was, one, I went through the allegations and they were like mind-boggling because the receiver came out and she's like, pow, pow, throwing out words like fraud and worthless and claiming the return of millions of dollars. I mean, about 2 million. So that counts as like plural millions. And in that video, I basically said like, whoa, these Empire Flipper guys, like they are going to have no choice. They're going to have to defend themselves. Their business is based on trust. And that trust has been called out. Like they have been called out. I mean, fraud, right? And so I basically just came out and said, like, I believe there is no chance that this case will settle. So they went and checked Pacer in the last couple of days, and basically, here's what I found. The parties are going to a settlement conference. What is a settlement conference, you ask? It's basically a meeting of all the parties to sit down and get together to see if they can try and settle the case. Oh, that teaches me. In general, a settlement conference is not a court hearing. There may be a judge that will, I don't want to say preside, but basically manage it and try to settle the case. There will be no witnesses in general, like no evidence. It's more of a mediation than anything. Settlement judges work these cases out in very different ways, but ultimately the end goal for everyone is to try to find some way to get out of the case. Now, does this mean that simply because all the parties have said, yes, like let's go to settlement conference, does it mean that Empire Flippers has admitted any wrongdoing or thinks that they might not win if the case goes to trial? And the answer is no. I mean, there are lots of good reasons to go to a settlement conference. And if anything, the fact that they are going to a settlement conference early in the case, like basically within a month of the case being filed, this process got started. I mean, that's good business sense because then they can try to resolve the case in some way that makes sense without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. You can correct me if I'm wrong or point me to it if you see it, but I haven't seen any of the Empire Flippers principals comment publicly on this case yet. And I could speculate like all day long between you, me, and the fence post about what this means. But at this point, I just don't have any evidence. I don't know what the actual evidence is going to be that would support the receiver's claims that are so, I mean, fraud, right? Like that's a huge allegation that she's got to back up. So putting myself in the receiver's shoes, I sometimes wonder if the reason that this case was filed was to maybe inspire some sort of Me Too movement. That if maybe they put this case out there and they were the ones to say, yeah, you know, that connect Empire Flippers and fraud, that there would be just this tidal wave of other people who were like, yeah, like me. So far, I'm not seeing that. Not yet. And if it's out there somewhere else, you'll have to point me to it. I think on my last video, I had one negative comment. Now, to be fair, that video hasn't necessarily gone to thousands of people, but it just makes me wonder if that was part of the reason to file this case. That maybe other potential customers could help them prove their case, or maybe put pressure on Empire Flippers to show up to write a check. I'm super curious. I just can't help it. I'm super curious. So when is this settlement conference going to happen? So checking the notification of docket entry, it looks like there was a telephonic hearing on February 2nd, and it looks like there is a video settlement conference scheduled at 8 a.m. on March 18th, 2021. Now, in general, settlement conferences are not public hearings, so this means that any of us who are interested in it are not going to get to like be a fly on the wall and participate in this in any way. It also means that however this case resolves, if it does in the settlement conferences, we probably won't know necessarily what the motivations were. We may not see like what happens. could all be done off the record. I guess we'll just have to wait and stay tuned. See if Empire Flippers has anything to say about this, or if it will be left to us armchair warriors to speculate about what's happening and what will happen next. I've been making videos about this situation for more than a year, so if you're interested in going back and checking those out, you'll see them in the box that's right here on the screen. And over here, I'm also going to put a link to the video that I initially made when I heard that the income store had filed suit through the receiver against Empire Flippers. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one.